Peace, family, friends, and loved ones out there. I hope everyone's doing great. It is another Friday, and we are wrapping up April this week. So, let's talk about spiritual energy. What is spiritual energy? Spiritual energy is something that is unseen, right? It's something that goes unseen and it's within oneself. So, if spiritual energy is unseen and it is something that is within oneself, then how can one use that energy on their physical reality and also on their spiritual journey? Is what we're going to talk about. And spiritual energy, it equals to being your life story. And I say your life story is because your spirit will unfold experiences in your life. And as it does that, it tells a story. And it's just about how aware are you of the story being told and how aware of you in the role that you're playing in your own story, right? A lot of us don't understand that this life that we're experiencing is from our own unfoldings of our spirits and souls. So the movie that we consider life to be is really the story that our spirit is revealing to us, right? Our spirit is unfolding who we are, what we are, and in the period of time that we're in, what we can experience. So we have to be very thankful and grateful that we are aware that our soul and our spirit is doing the work of writing this life story for us. We just have to play the role, take on the role that's given, right? And as I think about the roles that I've been given in life, I question myself, am I supposed to be doing multiple roles while being here experiencing life on this planet? And I say that because I understand that the universe has a role for me. And I'm trying to walk in those steps that the universe puts me on. But then I ask myself, well, are there other purposes of life other than walking on this spiritual journey? Are there, are there other purposes that I am supposed to fulfill while walking this earth? And I think about that. I think about that a lot because I am a father, I am a brother, and I think about the roles as a father or as a brother. And those are similar roles, but they're also different. They also require me to walk a different path. So I ask myself, what role or what purpose do I serve in the present moment? And that's where my spirit and my soul reveals to me and it unfolds in what period of time I'm going to be the brother, the bigger brother, the younger brother, or the times I'm going to be the father, the protector, the provider, or just the one that's there to care and love, right? So your spirit and your souls will keep unfolding to you. And as it keeps unfolding to you, you have to understand that you have to stay faithful to your truth because your truth is being unfolded to you and revealed to you. And it's not going to be revealed to me or unfold in my life your truth. So you have to remain faithful in your truth. You can't rely on other truths to fit in your life to give you stability. It's going to be your own truth that give you the stability from within to carry on your path, right? We have the self-intelligence that gives us all that we need. It gives us all that we need to remain in truth, within our truth. So remain in alignment with your truth. It's very important. It's very important to stay in alignment with your truth. And sometimes we get confused on our truth, and because we hear a lot about the past. And then when we hear about the past and it doesn't resonate with our present moment truth, then we reject the past. And by rejecting the past, it's not allowing us to be in the knowing of the true self, because we are rejecting a certain part of the self because we don't want to accept the shadow that we've been living in. Because a lot of us remain living in our shadow in the past moments, present moments, because we haven't accepted and leveled up into what we call the present moment. And I say leveled up because it doesn't matter about a certain time period for you to take the role of your truth, right? Or your position that the universe gives you. It's not that. It's the fact that a lot of us haven't made the sacrifice and we continue to accept the struggle, right? Because we have been dealing with the physical realm for so long mentally that spiritually we don't understand how to work through our experiences in life, right? So we have, our body has been experiencing, struggles, unwanted sacrifices, and that's been the negative side of the physical experience, right? Our pains, our suffering has been the negative side of the physical experience. But what is on the opposite side of your physical experience is your spiritual side, the spiritual energy that you hold from within to be able to create situations and experiences from within and not from the struggle or the sacrifices of others. So just because we've been living in this physical realm, struggling, challenging, having to make sacrifices, since we've been living in that physical realm for so long, we have basically locked ourselves up in the invisible prison. What is the invisible prison? The invisible prison is you repeating things in the physical realm. The more that you continue to repeat things unconsciously, it's the more you remain in that invisible prison. Since we deal with things on levels and not time, how do one level up? Right? How do one level up? Well, one key way of leveling up is through the breath. And through each breath, raising up the conscious level of each thought. Once you're able to level up your thoughts, then you're leveling up in life. Because your life will start to change with the thoughts that you are giving it, but it has to be a higher vibration for you to take that momentum and see the change, right? One must balance their spirits and their souls. One must balance their spirits and their souls. Because your spirit is going to keep unfolding and revealing to you in the present moment. So you have to be able to balance those experiences that you're having in the present moment and not let anything overwhelm you from walking away and turning away from your spirit. Because your spirit is giving you the experience for you to deal with it, not to ignore it, not to put it off on anybody else, but it's for you to experience and have to come up out of it. I say come up out of it because it's from within that things come forth. So you must balance your own spirits and souls, right? We all receive knowledge of some source from different sources, right? Different studies, from different information that's passed. But we have to understand that knowledge is not enough. Knowledge is not wisdom. And we can break down the two real quick um, or shortly. But knowledge is not wisdom, and wisdom comes from a living being. So let's talk about that. Knowledge is information passed through different sources, and you receive it either in the present moment or in a later period, right? But whenever you receive that information, you can store it, you can hold on to it. But if you don't use it, then that knowledge doesn't has any attainment. It doesn't attain to you. It doesn't have anything that's working with your personal self, right? So knowledge is very key into anyone's success and anyone's upbringing, but it is not important as wisdom. And wisdom is something that comes from a living being because it has attained the knowledge over a period of time and it can share it through not only experience, but through words of motivation and encouragement, right? So, wisdom is there for us to use to uplift, to stand on knowledge that we do know, and to continue to share. You know, a lot of people try to charge for knowledge and charge for information, but you can't really charge someone for the wisdom that you have to share. You just have to share it. And so that's the beautiful thing about wisdom is because once we start to share that wisdom, we start to release energy and give energy to others. And that is in a form of exchange or investments. So that's a very good thing when we start to use wisdom instead of knowledge. Everyone has knowledge to teach and share, but how much wisdom can you give someone? How much wisdom can you be receiving of? Is really a real pivot point in us being able to speak and communicate with each other, right? Because that's the key. We do want to have better dialogue and conversations with each other going forward. Well, that's the key for me. So if it's the key for me and I'm trying to express that to you, then hopefully you will take it as serious as I'm, and we will be able to hold these conversations because we understand that we are our own and others' support system, right? And we do that with this spiritual energy. We don't have to do this with physical energy. It's the spiritual energy that brings forth all these physical experiences that we're going to have. Just knowing that the spiritual energy will allow us to get through different pains that we're going through, different sufferings, right? Because it's unfolding in it to us, so it has everything within it for us to get past it and get through it. We just have to remain balanced with our spirit and our souls. And then also know that some pains will have to be dealt with in the dream state. Some pains will have to be dealt with in the dream state because your subconscious will bring unwanted experiences back to the surface for you to deal with that challenge, right? So your subconscious does work while you rest. So when you wake up and you wake up to these challenges and problems, It's because your spirit and your soul has brought that to your awareness so that you can not only approach it in a way, but you can handle it and balance it in a way so that you can move forward. And you don't have to remain attached to that thought or to that energy, right? So, yes, remember that a lot of unhealed emotions will be brought up through the dream state for you to deal with in your present moment. So don't let a bad dream or what you consider a nightmare to shock you when you wake up. It is the sign telling you where the work needs to be done and what needs to be addressed. So just understand that this spiritual energy that we're using is very important for us not only to use it from within and with ourselves, but also express that out onto the world, into the universe, into others. Because the spiritual energy that we have to give is a part of the abundance that is missing in your surroundings. Because if there's abundance, there's a certain amount of unlimited amount of abundance that is put in the universe. And the more abundance that we put out, or the more abundance that we are aware of, is the more abundance that we have to work with in the universe. With that said, Rafiki Ungu, to all my family, friends, and loved ones out there, I hope everyone have a great weekend. And close this month of April out with love, protection, and respect. Self-respect as most, but respect to others as well. With that said, Ashe.